Today, we're diving into the legend of a king who just refused to bend. A warrior who chose the harsh wilderness over a gilded cage and, in doing so, became this timeless symbol of resistance. We're talking about the incredible story of Maharana Pratap of Mewar. But before we get into all the dates and battles, I want to start with a question for you. What does it really mean to never surrender? I'm not just talking about on a battlefield, but deep down in your spirit. Just keep that question in the back of your mind, okay? Because it's pretty much the heart of this entire story. Okay, so let's set the scene. Picture this. It's 16th century India, a time when empires are constantly shifting. Our story kicks off in the year 1540, inside the massive, imposing walls of Kumbhalgarh Fortress. This is where a prince named Pratap was born. He was born to inherit the throne of Mewar, a fiercely proud Rajput kingdom that had, for centuries, fought to keep its independence. So right away, the stage is set for this monumental conflict. It's like an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. On one side, you've got the small but incredibly fierce kingdom of Mewar, and on the other, the massive, ever-expanding Mughal Empire, led by one of history's most powerful emperors, Akbar the Great. And Akbar was absolutely determined to bring all of India under his control. So this timeline really just fast-forwards us right to the edge of the confrontation. See, after Pratap's coronation, Emperor Akbar, who was a master diplomat, tried the peaceful route. He sent envoy after envoy, offering Pratap wealth, status, you name it. But here's the thing. For Pratap, every single offer came with a price he was just not willing to pay, giving up his kingdom's freedom. So by 1576, that's it. The door for diplomacy slams shut. A clash was coming, no doubt about it. And that clash? Well, it has a name that still echoes through Indian history, the Battle of Haldi. And you have to understand, this was never just a fight over a piece of land. It was a stand for an idea. So the year is 1576, where in a narrow mountain pass called Haldi, this is it. This is where Maharana Pratap's resolve is about to face its ultimate test against the full, crushing might of the Mughal Empire. And it's right here that a man and his legendary horse, Chetak, are about to ride straight into legend. Okay, now look at this, because this really puts it all into perspective. The sheer imbalance of power here is just staggering. Take a look at those numbers. You've got Pratap leading about 20,000 warriors against a massive Mughal force of around 80,000. And the Mughals had advanced cannons, battle-hardened cavalry, the whole 9 yards. This wasn't just a numbers game. It was a fight for your home against a sophisticated imperial war machine. The odds weren't just bad, they were, well, to put it mildly, impossible. And this quote right here, it just brilliantly sums up his motivation. The Battle of Haldi was absolutely ferocious. In the end, Pratap was forced into a strategic retreat, and his loyal horse Chetak was mortally wounded, saving his life. But, and this is the key, it was not a surrender, not even close. His spirit was nowhere near broken. Why? Because for him, the fight was always about that one simple principle, the freedom of his motherland. And this is where the story gets even more incredible, because this is where the legend is truly forged. You see, after being forced from his capital, most leaders would have just fled into obscurity, right, game over. But not Pratap. No way. Instead, he completely transformed himself. He became a guerrilla king, fighting from the rugged Aravalli hills. And it was during this tough time in the wilderness that he made a solemn promise, a vow, one that would become this powerful symbol of his absolute, unbreakable commitment. And I mean, think about the depth of this sacrifice. He swore off all royal comforts. He vowed to sleep on the ground, not in a bed, to eat from plates made of leaves, not fine dishes. He promised to live this incredibly harsh life until the day he reclaimed his kingdom. This wasn't some political stunt. It was a deeply personal act, a sign of his unbreakable resolve. And make no mistake, these were not empty years spent hiding away. For years, he wasn't just surviving out there in the wilderness, he was actively reorganizing. He built this powerful alliance with the local Bhil tribes, who were absolute masters of that rugged terrain, and together they waged a relentless guerrilla war. They perfected hit-and-run tactics, striking at Mughal supply lines and outposts, constantly reminding the empire that Mewar was not conquered. He basically proved you don't need a palace to be a king. All you need is the will to fight. This relentless spirit, this perseverance, it brings us to his final chapter, and his immortal legacy. Because his struggle, it was not in vain. Slowly, but surely, all that fighting from the hills started to pay off. He actually began to reclaim large parts of his kingdom. If you really want to get to the core of what drove him, you have to understand this one single word, swabhiman. It's a Sanskrit term, and it means this deep, unwavering sense of self-respect, honor, and pride. It's something that you just refuse to compromise on. And that was the ideal he would not give up, no matter what it cost him. And his legacy? Well, it reflects this idea perfectly. He became this timeless symbol of courage against overwhelming power, a story told again and again through generations. It's even said that his greatest enemy, Emperor Akbar himself, privately admitted to having immense respect for Pratap's unbreakable spirit. He's become this enduring inspiration for anyone, anywhere, fighting for freedom and self-respect. So in 1597, Maharana Pratap passed away. And not in battle, but from an injury he got while hunting. But what's so crucial to remember is how he died. He didn't die as a defeated fugitive hiding in the hills. He died as a king who, through sheer force of will, had taken back almost all of Mewar from the Mughals. Everything except for that one fortress of Chittorgarh. His vow? It was nearly fulfilled. Which brings us right back to where we started. Look, the story of Maharana Pratap isn't just about some king from the 16th century. It's a timeless testament to the incredible power of the human spirit. And it really forces us to ask ourselves that question again. What can one person's resolve truly achieve against what seems like impossible odds?